Welcome back, everyone. Tonight we're stepping behind the lens. Our guest doesn't just chase ghosts, he captures them in eerie beauty of haunted places through photography. From chilling landscapes to unexplained figures caught on camera, they turn to the paranormal into powerful images. Let's dive into the shadows and see what they've brought to the light. Paranormal Dudes podcast, episode 63. Did I get that right? Yeah, 63, right?
Yeah, 63.
Yeah, 63. Okay. We are joined today by an awesome person that I've been speaking to on our Instagram, and we are so excited to have him on the show. He's a paranormal photographer and adjacent paranormal investigator. That's how I'm going to word it, Douglas.
That sounds good.
We're so happy to have him on the show. Everybody clap at Douglas. Yes. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Why don't you go ahead and let our audience know who you are and what you do and what you love about spooky things.
Wow, what I love about spooky things. Well, for starters, in my spare time, I love to take pictures, man. I started photography back a few years back. Little dabble into that. My wife was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer years ago.
Oh,
she's good to go. She's cancer free now, man. Everything's great.
Oh, cool.
But
Okay.
while she was doing her chemo, the thing that I did to kind of like keep my sanity through all that is I of all things, I started going to cemeteries and taking pictures. Don't ask me why. That's just where I went. And I would go to cemeteries and I started taking pictures, and it just helped me cope. It helped me to get through. And it's just something that I continue to do. As far as the spooky end of it, the paranormal has been a part of my life ever since I was a wee lad. So, it all kind of just blended in and meshed together.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. And so, as far as you said, it drew you. There's something drew you to photography within the paranormal, and you have no idea what it is, right?
No, I really, really don't actually. It's just something that kind of came to me. I've always been fascinated with photography, and the beautiful thing about photography with me is I can see what it is that I want to shoot before I shoot it, depending on where I'm at.
That's awesome.
And, kind of get the vibe there, and I've been lucky enough to meet some really interesting people, and to go places with them and try and capture, in still frame, what haunts us all, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. I think it might be generational. I remember you mentioning that your mother is clairvoyant, which is awesome, by the way. I feel like some of those remnants might have been passed down to you, and that's why you were drawn to it. And definitely the spiritual side bringing you in there, whether you wanted to or not. And just so that you know, on the show here, Osk is like training wheels, clairvoyant. He's gonna kick him off pretty soon. Jesse's like full blown clairvoyant, sees things walking all over the place all the time, and
I'm her protege. So
there you
go. But is there anything in your paranormal life and that's how I'm going to frame it, that you experienced that really captivated you and you wanted to experience more and try to capture things with the camera?
Um, it's gone in spurts. Like I said, I can remember being very little, and wherever we lived, and I was raised in Southern California, so I've been in Missouri
Yeah.
now for about
Nice.
15, 16 years. But I have family still in LA and San Bernardino counties. So I lived in the high desert, and then I would go visit my family, all of Duarte, El Monte, La Fuente, all over.
Oh,
And
okay.
wherever we lived, there was always something going on, and it wasn't necessarily bad. But there's always been that pull in one form or another. I would say the craziest experience that I've had, that made me delve a little deeper, um, was I dated a girl back in the '90s. When I met her, her mother had passed away about 6 months before I met her.
Yeah.
And one day we were getting ready for work, and she'd asked me if I'd go start the car. Her mother left her a really nice '64 Mustang. Beautiful, beautiful
Ooh.
car.
Nice.
And so she says, "Hey, will you go start the car for me?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." So I'm walking through the kitchen, go out the garage door, and as I open up the garage door, I see her mother sitting in the front seat of the car. But she's got the steering wheel in her hand and she's going like this. And I'm
What?
like, and she's doing this, and then she stops,
Oh.
right? She stops, she looks up, and she's got this big grin on her face, a big smile. And I was like,
Oh.
okay, so I turn around, I walk back in, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? And she's like, babe, did you start the car up? And I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, okay. So I go back out there, and she was gone. And about a week later, it was the classic, wake up in the middle of the night, and there she is standing at the foot of the bed
Oh
with another
no.
grin. Yeah, dude. And I was like, I went back to sleep, but I held on. We dated for about 5 years. I held on to that for about 3.5 years because I
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
really, really bad. Because I mean, she was the only daughter. She loved her mom, and my thought was, well, why am I seeing this? How come? How come
Right.
about her? I felt terrible. I really did. And I eventually told her, and I mean, she was bummed, of course, but she was happy because wherever her mom was, she was in a place where she was able to come back and she was smiling. So
Oh.
she took some solace in that.
Okay.
Um, I
You're
probably
better.
went,
You're a better man than I am. I would have bit. Jesse knows. That whole situation. If she would
You would
have
have
asked
gone
me,
running.
if the girl would have asked me, "Did you start the car, babe?" Your mom actually did. It was really
Yeah.
weird.
yeah, really. No, your mom's on the bed.
Yeah.
So
You're a
was that
better
the
man than I am
first?
for sure.
Was that like the first? I guess you could say spirit or ghost or what entity, whatever that you had seen. Is that like kind of what sparked this? Hey, there's something more there. Kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah. Full bodied, full
Mm-hmm.
bodied for sure.
Oh wow.
But there was many other things, growing up, but but I think more so now is it reached a point where it seemed like a lot of things were going on. Like again, even after I, was living on my own, things were going on here and there. Whether it be doors opening or closet doors opening, and things opening on demand in one apartment where I was like, "Yo, open the
Oh.
closet door," and the closet door would open. So
No.
little things like that. And when I met my wife, and we've been married since 2003. Uh, Everything just kind of stopped. I mean, everything. Every place we lived in, there was like nothing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And my youngest daughter, Chloe, she's like my partner in spooky crime. We started watching like those videos that you can watch, like those "Don't Watch Alone" videos or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
would get together, we'd put in an earbud and we'd watch scary videos and this and that and the other. And then, not last year, but the year before last, um, her and I went to the Sallie house, and we
Oh
spent
really?
Oh wow.
so we spent an hour at the Sallie house is about 90 miles away from me. So she had a day off of school. I had a day off of work. And I was thinking about, I've heard about it, but I didn't know a whole lot about it. So I thought, hey, baby, you want to go like I asked the wife, I go, hey, we want to go on a field trip. Are you good with that? And she's like, yeah, go ahead. So we booked an afternoon, well, an hour, and we went to the Sallie house. And then it was after the Sallie house when things started going a little wacky. And then that's kind of like spurred up like everything anew.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's been pretty wild. It's been a wild ride since then. So.
And you
So
went to
has
the
she
Sallie
ever
house. Okay.
has she ever seen or tell you she sees things? Because my kids, they do. I have a 4-year-old, or he's gonna be 4, and a 7-year-old, and they say things all on their own. I actually kind of stopped with because my whole family were all witches. Not my sister practices, but I don't anymore since I had kids because it kind of paused a little bit with it. Because it kind of started to freak me out once I had kids and things would happen and I would see things and they were so little, whatnot. So, but naturally by themselves, they would, start to tell me things like my daughter always says, the outlines of their colors. And, my son always sees, my great grandma and my grandma and different family members. So were you guys okay, like with your daughter being that age to start introducing her to that? Or is it because you saw that she kind of just liked it also, or didn't scare her?
No, yeah, I think she just developed. She became curious on her own about that, and perhaps that might have something to do with our past. As far as um, a handing down, so to speak. But she was something that she was interested in, and of course, we had watched. Like I said, that's kind of like our little time. Watch spooky videos and stuff like that, and it just came natural. Like I've had people say, "Why'd you take her there?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, why not, yo? I mean,
Yeah.
She's my fucking daughter. Fuck you.
yeah, So, um, we went, and it was like on a 12 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, and the funny thing about it is when we got there, it's just like a little grandma's house. It's very unimposed.
Mhm.
There's really nothing to it.
Right.
And the thing is we made a plan. I was gonna take pictures and she was gonna take video.
Oh,
Now
nice.
we didn't walk around. We didn't ask any questions. I didn't
Provoke or
ask any
anything like
questions.
that. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I don't even have any ghost. I have an iPhone, man. I don't have any ghost equipment or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so we walked around, for about 45 minutes, and then I was like, I'm on a video for a little, for the last 15. And that was that. I mean, it was nothing. In fact, I was a little like disappointed. And then on the way home, she was like, I had a headache the entire time I was there. Someone said hey
Oh.
to me, you know, and she's
Wow.
like, I had a headache the entire time. And now that we're leaving, my headache's gone. And I said, okay, all right, well, all right. And then about 3 days later, I started going over the videos that I took, or that she took. And that's when I heard all the voices. Lots of
Oh.
voices, lots of
Oh.
interesting voices.
Like coming
Full
in
on
on different frequencies, probably. Yeah, I
yeah, oh
get it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was the craziest thing. I mean, like on my iPhone, and I was like showing my wife. I was like, "Did you hear that?" She's like, "That's freaking nuts." And then and after that, that's when things started happening around here, and
Mm.
that's
Makes
when
sense.
yeah, things started happening around here. Um, Lots of mimicry, lots.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, like just lots. And it kind of goes and flows. It hasn't. Nothing really major has happened within the last couple of 4 or 5 months, but
Okay.
yeah, it's been pretty. It was pretty well. So that was another thing that kind of. Oh, and I mean, I got some great photography there. I got some great pictures there, and that kind of sparked the whole interest in it again.
Sure. We were haunted, but hey, I got great content. We got it.
Hey, sometimes that's the opportunity cost, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
exactly.
got to give
Yeah.
something to get something. So there it is.
Exactly,
But the
especially
thing
with the
was, it's
paranormal.
like nothing malevolent or nothing mean or nothing this and that, whatever. If anything, just I don't say soothing or calm, but nothing mean. Just, I don't know, just cranky, if anything.
Yeah, that
You
sounds
know,
like living. Yeah.
I'm really interested because you're saying you brought home something that was possibly like mimicry.
Mhm.
Um, in your photos and such, do you ever catch any kind of like images or things that paranormal that's there? And have you ever tried anything in your own home that maybe try to see what this mimic is that's within your home now?
Um, so I had gotten one picture that I got when we were at the Sallie house was so I kind of made it a point to go to all the rooms and look at stuff, like just make sure, just kind of like get a mental note. Okay, everything in here looks like this. We go another room, everything looks like this. Everything looks like that. And of course, it's great because when you're taking pictures, everything is like it is in frame. Well,
Right.
when
Mhm.
I was videotaping, something seemed off on one of the beds,
Mm.
and I went back and I looked. I took a screenshot of the video, and then I went back to look at my pictures, and sure enough, something had sat on the corner of a bed because it looked like there
Mm.
was an impression. Someone had sat on the bed.
Oh,
Nobody sat on the bed. So at the
right.
beginning of our tour, it was flush, and in the middle of our tour, somebody had sat. Um, so aside from that, and then um, the next thing that I got was excuse me. I was have you guys heard of All Saints Lunatic Asylum in Apple Valley, California?
Yeah.
Okay, so Christy, the lady who owns the place, likes my photography. Saw it on Instagram and said, "Hey, if you're ever in town, would you be interested in coming by and taking pictures?" Well, it just so happens that I've got family in Apple Valley and Victorville, so I'm like, of course. So we flew out for a little family vacation. I went to the site and I got a tour from Ashley, who does Ghostcraft Coven,
Mm.
and walked around. I took a tour of the place, took a bunch of pictures, had a great time. Sitting there, we were having dinner, and out of nowhere, I felt this on my arm. Felt that like going
Oh,
down, and I was
seducing
like,
you.
"Whoa!" And that's funny too because it was a very sensual kind of
Yeah.
touch, you know.
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
I don't have my wallet on now, but I've got a wallet with a chain on it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there, and then my wallet went out straight out. So somebody
Oh,
tugged at it.
dang.
So I was like crazy. But back to the picture, I was going through all the pictures that I had taken,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a room in there they call the doll. There's the doll wall, the doll room,
Right.
and I had taken a picture. I was just taking pictures, taking pictures, taking pictures. Well, I was going through them. There's one where there's a doll head. It's facing down like that, and then in the next shot, it's looking at me like that.
Oh my
So with
gosh,
Oh
no.
so
no.
within, and I'll you know what I tell you, I'll send you the pictures later too.
Yeah, I would
Within
love. Would love that. Yeah.
within a second, just click click. It went from looking down, and it was a heavy doll head. This doll's like this, but the head's down like that,
Right.
and then it just went up like that.
Oh.
It was the
Oh.
craziest thing. I mean, I didn't see it. It wasn't until the next day. So
That's nuts. I mean, oh, you know what? You're more of a professional than like. Okay, this is me being honest. Yes, I've done some ghost hunting or tried to capture something with video, especially with my brother, who's no longer on the show, but he was a part of the show, and we still have plans. He's probably going to join the channel. But I don't know if you noticed this to Oscar.
Second time.
What's
His
happening to
crazy
Oscar
lights.
right now happens like okay. I'm getting all over the place, but it's because I want to tell you so many things, all the things. So, what I want to tell you first is on the show, we have a ghost that I think we created together or that's attached to the show. First, it was terrorizing my brother. He's no longer here. So now it kind of tries to attach itself to any other mainstay that's on the show. It's bothered Buddy, Jesse a little bit, not too much, not me not that much, but it loves Oscar. As you can see, what's happening to Oscar right now. It likes messing with his lights, messing with his camera, turning off his internet.
Mm-hmm.
This entity cut my brother's power twice while we were filming once. I think it's part of the episode where he just cuts out and he's just in pitch black.
His TV turns on. His closet opens.
TV turns on. The lights will turn on and off. Yeah, a lot of crazy shit. But going back to what I was saying, the whole photography thing is, we tried doing the same. Probably not. I want to say you're probably more polished than we are, and is because of my joking nature. Whether it's a defense mechanism or
Definitely.
or yeah, maybe probably or it's just to be honest. Look, a lot of people have asked me once we created the show and we've gotten a lot more traction. People will just flat out ask me. We mentioned before we started the show that people are very very serious within the space, which is totally fine. But then they'll ask me why I'm not serious and I should take it seriously. I do take it seriously, but if I don't joke around, that's not me. So I'm not being genuine
Right.
to our audience. So I'm going to be that way. Like a good example is when you were mentioning that there was an imprint on your bed, you said, correct? Or on a bed?
On the bedspread there, yeah.
On the bedspread. My mind, how it works is automatically I'm like, was it a dump truck on the bed? Like that's the first thing I think of. Yeah. So now and so what I try to tell people is that it's not out of disrespect. It's just my mind is I have ADD, so it's constant. Everybody's catching strays. I love self-deprecating humor, so I make fun of myself all the time. Ask these guys; they know that. And so
man, to that on self be true, brother. Man, just be you. That's all you can do.
Definitely. So that's why I appreciate you being on the show because you have a level of professionalism, and I've seen all of your I mean, not all of your photography. I'm sure you have more than what's on Instagram. That's for damn sure. But my overall question for you, being that in my eyes, you're an artist because in some level, everybody's an artist when it comes to photography. Do you consider yourself more of an artist that's documenting the strange or an investigator capturing evidence when you're in the middle of this?
Oh no, I think the strange definitely.
Okay.
It's really funny. The first time that we went to the Sallie house, I went there as a photographer because there's history. It's an old place. I bet you I can take some really killer photos in there. It's got some history. It's supposed to be haunted. Let's do this.
Yep.
I went a couple months ago again on an overnight with some investigators that I know, and we all hooked up and we went there. And the one thing that I did do that I didn't do the first time is I went there thinking like an investigator and not a photographer. And you know something? I didn't take shit for pictures. And I tried to be something that I'm not really. I mean, I understand some aspects of the paranormal, of course. I've had a shit ton of experiences, but I approached it in a manner that I don't normally approach it, and my photography suffered because of it. And it didn't yield as much stuff for me personally as the first visit. I had a good time hanging out with everybody, but I didn't even stay the whole night, man. I bailed at about 1 o'clock in the morning. It just didn't yield what it could have, or what it just didn't for myself personally. As when I went into it with another point of view, So
No,
I
for sure.
think I understand now that when I go to places, I have to look at it through the lens of a camera as opposed to the lens of the eyes of an investigator, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, that makes total sense. I totally get it. It's very interesting to me because on a personal level, I've spoken to a few investigators, and I think you have like a very, very important niche of that middle ground. Yes, you're more of a photographer, without a doubt. But it kind of, you spill over into the investigator side, and I think it's by accident sometimes you become an investigator. So I'm gonna get super technical with you because I'm a giant fucking nerd. Um, when you set out to capture a haunted location, doesn't matter where, it could be the Sallie house, any other instance as well. What's your creative process like once you're getting down to it?
Um, I don't. The places that I've gone to,
Mhm.
there's a lot of this area that I live in this area is steeped in a lot of Civil War history.
Oh,
The
okay.
town,
Yep.
the town that I live in, um, the town that I live in has been around since 1861, I think.
Okay.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's a church down the road that was built in 1862. There's the cemetery over right over here that's got Civil War. So, the Battle
Wow.
of Lexington is right down the road from us, and that place is, like a haunted
Op ed.
plantation that's
Yeah.
been there. So, I've gone to these places before, and I just go, and I don't. I mean, who doesn't want to see something, man? I love to, or hear things, and and I've heard things, and I haven't caught anything other than, like, a couple little things here and there on camera.
Right.
Um, but I don't really necessarily go into it with in any type of mindset. I think
Okay.
I think I'm there to listen to whatever
Mm,
it is that wants to say something. Um, I guess I could shout to the air all day long, and I really enjoy. I think EVPs are probably like my favorite aspect of the paranormal.
super
I
dope.
think it's pretty cool when you can ask the air a question and then pick something up. Um, Now I think some of that stuff is pretty. Some of the equipment is pretty far out there. I don't know a
Right.
lot of the science behind it, but I dig EVPs. I think they're really cool. But I think that you need to be open to hear or receive. I think that's what's the most important thing. You
Yeah, for
know?
sure. I mean, that was my next question. Like, do you scout locations ahead of time? And it seems like you're pretty much going off of emotion and what's drawing you, or whatever energy's bringing you in, which that makes it even crazier. That makes it more interesting than someone that's planning out a location to go to. Like if you're Zach Bagans on Ghost Adventures, it's more of you're operating on feelings, which I appreciate. I
Yeah.
bring up Zach Bagans a lot on here because I like to clown the guy.
Because you like to what?
I like to clown the guy at times. So, yeah, but I'm a fan of the show, or else I wouldn't know a lot. But I he overacts at times. That's where I like to clown him, where he'll pretend he's getting possessed or whatever, and throws a tantrum.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember, like, way back in the early 2000s. I remember used to watch Taps all the time.
Yep, taps, ghost hunters. Yeah,
That show was cool. And then I remember when Zach came around, and that was the flying brick, and everybody went nuts, and they
yep.
ran out of the joint. Um, I haven't really paid a lot of attention or watched a lot of those shows since then.
Because you're
There's
living it, dude. You're living it. I'm
well,
just kidding.
yeah, I don't know, man. Again, it goes to what I said earlier. When you turn the specter into a spectacle,
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Hmm.
I just don't dig it. I just don't dig that at all.
I
It's like,
totally get it.
if you want to do something on a level of discovery to
Hmm.
share an experience, it's great. But unfortunately, people want that, with an M80 lit off behind it because it's dazzling, and
Yeah,
it's,
for sure.
I don't know, man. The showbiz aspect of it ain't for me.
Oh
So
yeah, I totally get it. I mean, that plays into the whole clowning Zach Bagans, because he over dramatizes a lot of what's going on. Yes, it's for entertainment, what have you, but then it kind of takes you out of it, and you're just not really believing it anymore. So, and then that's when I'm quick to just watch something else. And
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, without a doubt. And I appreciate you being 100% transparent with us on everything I'm asking you, because
Oh, of
that's
course, absolutely.
super. That's super important here. We're not on this show. We're just ourselves, and we like spooky stuff, and that's what it is. So I have another question. I actually have a shit ton of questions, but
Fire away, man.
so on a technical level, stick with the technical level, and I promise I won't ask another nerdy question after this. How do you balance technical photography skills, which I know you have, with the unpredictable part of the paranormal that you're not prepared for?
Well, I think I don't know how I would have reacted had I seen, a doll head turn in front of me, as
Right.
opposed to discovering that later. So the things that I have experienced before, um, you know, uh, delving into photography, and mind you, I just use my phone, man. I don't have a big setup or anything
Yeah.
like that. I remember a couple of years back, my wife's like, "I want to get you a camera." I'm like, "Well, we already got one." She's like, "Yeah, but let's get you a camera." I'm like, "I'm good, man." I mean, I think um, I think it'll dare I say, take away a bit of the charm of it all, because
Sure.
it is what it is. Um, or I'm not the most technical guy,
Right.
in that area. My sister-in-law, she's a professional photographer.
Right.
She went to school for that. So she knows what she's talking about, and I don't ask the questions because they would just go over here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. For sure.
I don't know how I would react with camera in hand. I would hope that I would react in the ways that I have with different things that have happened through my life. If I
Mhm.
was ever put in that position again with a camera in the hand, so to speak. Yeah.
Okay.
If that makes any
So
sense.
Fair. Yeah, it makes
And so
total sense.
capturing all like the photos that you have, like right, you see pictures and then you see them again and you've captured weird things. Has that changed just your outlook on how you see death, on just you spiritually, or how you prepare before you go into these haunted places? Or do you just say it's haunted, I'm gonna go, whatever happens, happens? Or do you feel the need to have you ever had to do any type of weird cleansing or anything because it's just too weird?
No, I haven't. Probably because I wouldn't know how to do it if I had to. I'd have to Google that, or I would text you or something. But um,
Yes.
yeah, no, I just go. I think the first time the first time I went to Sallie House, I had maybe 2 minutes of like foreboding, like how the hell did I get myself into this? But I got my kid with me now. Got to man up. I can't not just I got to take care of business. I can't walk away.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, and then just go. So even the last visit, there was a time when it was really late, and each one of us were going to spend 20 minutes in the house alone with nobody else in there. And
Wow.
and I was like, well, I can't pass out now. I've got to do this. And I did. And it was no big deal at all. Again, like I said, nothing really happened for me, earth shattering. But I've been in other situations where things would just completely um, blow your mind, and I went to sleep. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So on that same train of thought, uh staying 20 minutes, nothing happens, but other times stuff does happen, like where you're genuinely like, oh my god, what the heck am I gonna do? Like, how do you handle that? Because it's happening in real time, right? Like if you were to see that doll face right in front of you switch,
Mhm.
and there's that point of like your passion is to take the photography, but something's happening right in front of you, like how do you decide, like, do I stay and take another picture or do I get the fuck out of here? Because
Oh
this shit
man,
is gonna go crazy.
it's more the sense of things happening when I didn't have it, and
Hmm.
being like, damn it, like now I'm just conveying to you what happened to me. I don't have any like actual proof of it, but
Hmm.
it makes for one hell of a story. So, but
Yeah.
I know I've been in more positions without it than with. Um, I basically I need to get out more often and take more. I need to take more pictures for sure.
Yeah. Do
But
you feel like you're a little bit more grateful that it doesn't happen right in front of you and you kind of discover it, or would you like to see it happen in front of you?
100%, I'd like to see it happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, I've never had anything. Uh, and I've never had anything spirit wise that was mean or bad or
Hmm.
harmful or hurtful. Um, anything, Um, it's funny, I actually called my mom up today and we were talking and I had some questions that I had for her because, see, my mom actually lived in Vegas for about 15 years. And so I spent a lot of time. Hell, I even got married in Vegas. So
Nice.
it's only 3 hours away. So we would drive up to Vegas all the time. And she lived in a house. Gosh, I can't remember I asked her what were the name of the mountains, but in Las Vegas, there's this really ginormous like Mormon temple, and they have these big gold statues, and it's up by the mountains anyhow. But my mom used to live close by there, and the house that she lived in. And of course, mind you, she's been clairvoyant ever since she was a little girl. Oh, and then I
Right.
found out today too that we had my grandmother's sister was a fortune teller. I didn't know that until today.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
And so I was like, well, that's cool. So she was telling me some stories and this and that and the other. But
Hmm.
I want to know about the house in Vegas because a lot of things happened to her in that house, and um, that were just mind blowing. And I stayed in that house dozens of times, and I never experienced anything there. Which, looking back, it's like, damn, I wish I had, because some of the stuff that she had seen was amazing. You know,
For sure.
um, like there was one ghost, was they called her the oh gosh, what do they call her? This along the lines of the she was a woman that was dressed in kind of like Western attire from like the Western days. With
Thank
like
you for
the
saying Western attire opposed to all white because we always hear all white.
The
yeah,
ladies,
yeah.
that's all we hear.
For
Yeah.
real.
But she would dust the pictures on her wall. So she
Oh,
would see her and she'd be dusting the pictures on the wall. Or
well,
her
thank you. I'd
coffee.
be like, well, thank you
Yeah,
for
exactly.
that.
Or like her coffee, like the spoon would get up and stir for her,
Oh.
coffee
Oh,
in the
okay.
morning. Um,
And the church you
and
were referring to, it's Lone Mountain, the Golden Church. The
yeah,
one you
yeah,
were,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's on Lone Mountain. Yeah,
Lone Mountain.
definitely. Yes.
So, but one of the craziest things, two things real quick.
Hmm.
She had a neighbor, and sweet, sweet family. Long story short, the neighbor, the man, I guess we were supposed to say unalive now,
Yeah.
himself. And anyway,
Appreciate
one
that.
night she woke up. Yeah, one night she woke up. And she was walking into her kitchen, and as she's walking in the kitchen, she glanced over, and there was the guy sitting on her couch, right,
Oh
dressed in
wow.
what
Wow.
he wore, what
That
he
day.
was laid to rest in, right?
Oh,
Oh
And
wow.
my
she had a
gosh.
hat on, and she saw him, and he just was looking down like this. And she went back into her room, and she laid down where she was laying. She could see perfectly him still sitting there. So she's like, I had to turn over and to go to sleep. And she got a call the next day from his ex-wife who lived in Hawaii, and she's like, Cindy, you're not going to believe what happened to me last night. And she's like, what? She's like, so and so, he was at my house last night. And I was like, she's
Whoa.
like, well, that's really funny, because he was in my living room too. So
Oh
No
he
my
visited,
gosh.
way.
so he visited both my mom and his ex-wife. But
Hmm.
the craziest thing that she brought home an attachment of, well, I say home, is a little boy, probably 5 or 6 years old,
Hmm.
that came to the house, hung around the house, playing pranks, doing this, doing that. traveling with her, whenever she would drive, she would see him like in the rear view, sitting in the back seat of the car. Well,
Oh my god.
she now lives in California, and the last time that we were in California, um, we were sleeping in a spare room, and they had like this little day bed, and my wife and my daughter were sleeping on the day bed, and I was sleeping on the floor, right? And small house, and so I'm laying on the floor, and as I'm laying there, out of the corner of the room, this thing came rolling like this. It was like rolling like that, rolling, and it rolled on top of my chest, and it was the little boy.
Oh
Oh
my goodness.
no.
And
No,
he
no,
looked at me,
no.
and he looked at me, and he smiled, and I went, and then he rolled off, and then rolled back to where he was at, where he came from. No shit. And I'm like, number one, I'm like, damn, why couldn't I got that on video? And number two, I was like, all right, cool. And I just went back to sleep. So I've had all sorts of stuff happen um, that I didn't get to capture, but I captured a moment that's like in here and in here.
Hmm?
And I think it's made me a better person, more in tune and more accepting of
Mhm.
what I can't explain, but more open to receive more, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah. It does make sense. It definitely does make sense. I mean that entity within itself, that's correct.
I would have
Rolling.
found the nearest hotel and booked something right
No.
there and got the hell out. Like,
What happened, sir? Look, there's like a Sonic the Hedgehog little kid just rolled down my chest. Something happened. I don't know what happened.
it was not
Oh,
the
poor little
Roomba.
boy.
No way.
He misses his mommy.
That's probably
But
what it is.
she's now she has moved away from that place. She's actually moved in with my brother. My brother lives in San Dimas,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
she's like, I made the joke. I was like, well, have you seen anything in Matt's house yet? And she's like, well, you know. She's like, yeah, I've seen this and I've seen that, and she's like, the other morning I woke up and she's like, no, there was something outside the door and it was just evil. I did not want to get out of bed.
Oh
And I was
no.
just like it was just really bad. And I was like, boy, so but she's been dealing with that kind of stuff ever since she was little. And I think more so myself. And now it's kind of been passed down to our youngest daughter now. And
Mhm.
Right.
she hears things and she hears things and she sees things, and she's not scared per se, or she doesn't come out of her room or running or yelling or this or that. The other, she'll tell me, and we've had discussions about this kind of thing, and she's very open minded to it. But
That's good. That's good.
that's where like the mimics kick in. Like um, my wife and my daughter spent the weekend in Austin at my brother in law's house, and I'm laying here in bed, and I'm half awake and half asleep, and then I hear, "Hey, Dad, come here," because that's my daughter likes to do that all the time. "Hey, Dad, come here," you know. I'm like, "Wait a minute, they're in Austin. She's not here," Or
Oh.
Yeah.
she's heard me say, "Hey, Princess, come here," but
Mhm.
I'm at work or something like that. So there's some of that
Someone
stuff
can,
going on.
yeah, that's crazy. There's one
Mhm.
person here on this show that can relate to you 100%, and his name is Buddy. He's just recently experienced a crazy mimic story while we were filming our show a couple weeks
Mhm.
ago. Buddy, fill him in a little bit.
Yeah. So, couple episodes back, we were sitting here, we were doing our recording, and I'm trying to remember, was it the night that we had an earthquake down here as well, or
Yes.
was it a storm?
Yes.
It was one of the
A
two.
thunderstorm. I think it was thunderstorm.
It was either a thunderstorm or we had an earthquake. Something hit, and shortly after that happened, I let everybody know this is going on right now in town, and all of a sudden, at my bedroom door, my daughters come in and they go, "Are you okay? Is everything all right? We heard you calling us and we thought you fell out of bed." And I was like, "No, I'm on the podcast. I have my headset on. I got my mic on." I said, "No, I never called you guys." And they were standing here staring at me like, "We thought you fell out of bed." And see, I'm paraplegic, so if I fall out of bed, I'm gonna call for help.
Yeah.
And so they yeah, they came in here saying that they had heard my voice. And funny thing is we usually talk about it at the beginning of the story of our podcast if something's come up, paranormal.
Yeah.
And last episode, nothing came up. But actually, just a couple days ago, we did have what we thought was somebody calling us from the back rooms while we were all on the front unloading groceries. So yeah,
Ooh.
we all looked down the hallway and we went, and
You're all
all
one,
four of
two,
us were out
three. We're
front.
all here.
Yeah.
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 1, 2. I know I'm not missing one.
Dude, that's crazy.
So yeah, so we got something messing around here a little bit. Hasn't done anything malicious to us, but it does keep the hairs on the back of our neck standing up a little bit.
Yeah,
And-
for
and just-
sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. Go
No,
for it.
it's
Go
good.
for it. You're good.
Oh no, I was gonna say, my wife has always said, I better not see ghosts. Or she would say things like, "Damn it, you brought something back from the house. Why did you do that for?" Now I'm scared. She can't watch scary movies at all, and it's hilarious because she'll sit in the middle and be my daughter and I on the side, and we'll watch something, and she's doing this, but one day we were home for lunch, and we both work at the same job, and we were home for lunch, and our kitchen is very small. And when our two older kids moved out and went to my oldest daughter went to college and graduated, and she's married now, lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. Our son's 22, and he just spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, and he's out now, and he's working and doing his thing. So, we had this big ass house, and we sold it, and now we're living in this little like 2-bedroom, 1-bath, renting this place, and so this house has had some history, and there's a gentleman that lived in this house that passed away in this house of old age and whatnot. But one day we were in the kitchen, and it's kind of small. We were walking by each other. We were passing by each other like that, and all of a sudden I heard like that, and my wife went, "Fuck, dude, why'd you do that for?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like,
Damn.
"Why'd you slap me in the ass like that for?" And I was like, "Yo, dude, I did nothing." She's like, "Shut up." I go,
Hey.
"I swear to God, it was really loud." She's like, "Yeah, so something smacked her ass," and that was like the first
That was your
time.
wingman, bro.
Oh,
He was trying to start something.
Yeah.
Trying to accomplish something for you.
But
That's
yeah, so she's opened up a little bit more to it now, having experienced something like that. I mean, there's
was it the ass
nothing
smack that did it? Is that the determining factor?
on that. Yeah, I mean, if you've ever been, seeing,
Yeah, I've been
hearing,
touched.
being touched by something that you cannot see is it's well, depending, it can be either amazing or fucking terrifying, right?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So, yeah.
No, yeah.
So
I mean, we've all just so that you're aware. So, I met Oscar. It's going on like 2 years, right, Oscar? Since we've known each other.
About 2 years.
We met each other through a mutual job, and we just became really good friends from there. Jesse, Buddy, and I, we've known each other since like 3rd grade, and
nice.
we've always been interconnected when it comes to the paranormal. Whenever something weird happened, and just so that we experienced a lot of stuff at Jesse's house. I want to say it's because a lot of her family, not a lot, just mainly Sandra, was a practicing witch, and Jesse was back then. And I felt like it was a hotbed at her house. A lot of crazy stuff happened there that we experienced, but a lot of stuff happened at my house as well. And Jesse, Buddy, and I experienced the bulk of those instances, and they were very scary. I think at that house that I used to live in Calexico, California, a very small town, that house alone was the scariest by far that I've ever experienced, and I've in every house I've ever lived in, something crazy has happened. Last house, there was some. There was an. I think Jesse outlined that my grandfather was taking care of my daughter there, and there was always, if you looked at the ring camera in her room, there's always orbs floating around her bed, and it was just really strange. I wish I would have captured that. Before that, there was an old lady. So the apartment complexes, they used to be old folks homes. So we think an old lady may have lost her life there because there was there was a ghost there that would bump into our bed. You would hear shuffling on the carpet all the time, doors slightly opening. And before that, where I live, one of the scariest stories I ever experienced happened there with the Yoo-Hoo entity. We have that up on the channel.
I
Our
saw
audience,
that
if you want to.
episode. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Like junior
Crazy.
year, right? Yeah.
Yes, dude. It was wild. But in Calexico, with Jesse and Buddy, one of our friends got dragged down the hallway by what we believe to be a demon,
Mhm.
and it possessed our friend. And Buddy got into excruciating detail about certain things that happened with our friend, and just him going through these episodes of wanting to unalive his parents
Mhm.
because this entity was in his ear when he was asleep, telling him to do so. Him just he was, how do I put this in YouTube terms? He was pissing all over the place. Uh,
Mhm.
and Buddy was there for one of those episodes, and luckily, he got out of it and he got like super clean, and he ended up getting he started doing all his sacraments within Christianity, and it kind of
Mhm.
cleaned up itself for him.
Wow.
And that instant, that's gonna stay with me for the rest of my life. I'll be telling my great grandchildren on my deathbed, you know what happened in Calexico. That's gonna happen, just so that
If you don't
you're kind
behave,
of.
That's definitely a place he
Yeah.
should go photograph for sure. It's
Yeah,
a Carroll
I mean,
Valley.
honestly, yes. So where
Oh
we
heck yeah,
grew
dude.
up, it's just it's a crazy place. I think everybody in that town has experienced something.
Something.
Um and I think, to tie into what this next question I have for you, it kind of it ties into more of what you said a little earlier, where you're not really into the limelight of the spooky, or the Hollywood glitz and glamour of the paranormal community. But
Mhm.
my question for you is, do you think photography, like yourself or anybody else in the space, kind of gets overlooked compared to video investigations by big YouTubers, or
Mhm.
shows like Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters, Taps?
Mhm.
Um, what are your thoughts on that?
As far as videotaping is concerned,
Yeah, yeah. Do you
um,
think? Yeah,
um, well, I mean, I think there needs to be more of it. I think back in the day, when people would go on investigations, they would have cameras set up in this hallway's cameras over here. They'd have
Hmm.
cameras all over the place, and then at
hmm
the end they'd go through it, right? And now these
right,
guys would generally stay in one area, so to speak, so it doesn't um, contaminate anything or whatever.
right,
A lot of investigators now don't utilize cameras as much as they utilize equipment. Um, Asking this and that, and you have apps now on your phone. You have so many devices now that are easily attained. That you can
yeah,
get
for sure.
uh, that are cheaper than some of this stuff.
hmm
And most investigations are fixed in one spot. Um, so I don't know. I like more to choose from. I
Right.
kind of like the video aspect of it myself personally. Um, But again, you've got people can manipulate video. They can fake this. They can do that. Just same thing with pictures too.
Yeah.
Um, I had that, and again, I'll send you the picture that I took.
Yeah.
But I had one
Definitely.
one woman say, what you ought to do? You ought to send that, because I had tried sending it to paranormal investigators and this and that and the other, but nobody was really interested, or it's not like I can do anything to hype their channel up. You know what I mean? So
For sure.
nobody was really interested.
But you know
Um,
what? You came to the right place. We're
Yes.
fucking interested. We want to see
there you go.
it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I sent this picture out. I emailed a bunch of people, and the one person that got back to me was Grant Wilson from Taps. Actually got
Oh,
back, and he's like,
no way.
"Yeah, dude, I'd love to see them." I'm like, "Sweet." So I sent it off to him. About 2 or 3 hours later, he sent me back like freaking 15 fucking paragraphs of, what? It could be like totally broke everything down,
Oh,
you know?
wow.
Like it could this, that, and the other. And it was really interesting,
Hmm.
Um, and it was really cool. And at the end of the day, he's like, something, man, it moved. And I can't tell you why, but it definitely moved. Um, and then another one was like, what? You should send it to skeptics to see what they think. So I
Right.
had sent it to a few, and only one guy got back to me, and he turned out to be a sweetheart. He was like, awesome picture, but I think that maybe there was some movement or this or that, the other, But so either way, it's kind of like you can get something all day long and not have done anything to it, but someone's gonna knock you down
Hmm.
because, oh man, that's fake, this, that, and the
Yeah,
other.
of
So
course.
at the end of the day, it's just kind of like how it affects you, the people around you, hopefully the people that were there with you. And and there you go. I don't know. I hope I answered your question. I'm sorry I was rambling.
No, yeah, you did. You actually answered two questions, which is great because that was going to be my next questions. If a question is if any skeptics ever challenged your
Yes.
work, um, and how you respond, because some people, honestly, not necessarily just photography or anything that has to do with paranormal, but in general, people whenever they're challenged with their work, they wear it on their sleeve, so they usually respond in anger or not in a
Yeah.
positive way that's constructive.
Uh,
And that's my question for you. If
no, I don't. You know what? I don't have time for that. I don't have
I
time
love that.
for
Love that.
negativity. I
Hmm.
really don't. I mean, it's like, look, I did this. This is what I saw. This is what This is what happened. I was there. What do you think? All right, well, cool, man. You're entitled to your opinion. I mean, whatever.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
but then people like they'll go, well, this is freaking stupid, and you dress funny, and that band shirt sucks, and you know what I mean? It's like when they start
Yeah.
getting personal, and it's
Yeah.
like, and all it is it's the shock value and it's the hype value, and
Of course.
some of these, I think that I think we need them actually. I think that some are good, some
Hmm.
uh, keep ghost teams legit.
Yep.
They'll call you out on your bullshit. They see it. They keep them honest. And if you ain't got nothing to worry about, then what the fuck you getting all crazy for? You know, you know,
Exactly.
Yeah,
you
because I'm
know.
sure there's some that they're really skeptic and some that just want to get a rise out of you, right? They just want to
Oh
mess
yeah,
with you and see how
absolutely.
you
And
respond.
their fan base is more rabid than they are. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So now, you know what? Hey, man, to each their own, man. You do you. That's how you feel. That's great. And I don't look like an idiot. My band shirt rocks, so kiss my ass. I mean, what are you gonna do? No, seriously.
I feel like I could compare it to like an analogy, like for example, like you have like the underground SoundCloud artists, right? People that are not pushed by labels or by public, which is like, Ghost Adventures, things that are on TV, on Netflix. I don't know if you remember growing up, I used to get on sfogs.com. Now,
I remember S
sfogs was
Fogs.
like raw, real clips and videos and pictures of ghosts and just scary shit, right? I can
Right on.
go and watch Ghost Invest, but I didn't get the same fear, right?
Right.
It's like, and I talk about it on the show all the time. It's like when I watch a scary movie, that they have the same door. I know they clown on me. They have the same doors. It's around my birthday. It's around my city. That's where I really feel the fear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's so close. It's so
Because it can
relatable.
happen to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
compared to some Hollywood
Uh-huh.
scripted thing, right?
Oh
So
yeah. 100%. That's yeah. 100%. Like movies. You know, I mean, I love scary movies like anybody else, but I mean, I lean more on the psychological thriller of stuff that could actually happen in real life. Is more terrifying than, you know, the jump scare. Wow, you know, and it's like there's some movies out there that really depict things that could actually happen that make you go, damn, that was spooky. You know, as you
I
know.
mean, I don't know about La Llorona in East LA, but it
Oh my god,
definitely
that
happened.
really pisses Jessie off. She brings it up periodically. La Llorona
Couldn't
in East
stand
LA.
that. She's in East LA, and like I thought a Ninja Turtle was gonna come out, and it was her.
she was getting some tacos from downtown LA.
Yeah, she was getting agua fresca or something.
uh, I appreciate it. You know, everything that you were outlining for us, and a lot of our crazy questions. I have a couple more, and then
Oh,
we can
yeah,
just.
absolutely.
Something special is happening this week, and I want to touch on it a little bit, and it's going to be kind of a nice little segue into our next episode, and where I hope you're honored that you're going to be a part of that segue, Doug. I'm going to call you Doug. I feel like I'm close to you, Doug, already. I'm
Oh,
calling him Doug already.
there you go. That's great. That's great.
So obviously there's always going to be aspiring anyone really to do anything. You know, I don't think there'd be an aspiring person that want to be like crazy me, but for your sake, for beginners who want to dabble or get into photography in haunted locations, and I feel like you were thrusted into it, which is amazing within itself. What's the number one tip that you'd give aspiring, you know, spooky photographers that are barely starting out?
Um, just it's so cliche, but just be you. You know,
Like that.
I would, you know, and don't be afraid to ask. You know, uh, you know, you ask in the sense of, you know, if you see someplace and you like, you know, you knock on the door, hey, you know what? Look, I really love your place. I love how it's laid out in this number. Do you mind if I just take a couple shots of your house? You know, I mean, you're not going to just walk up, hey, I want to come inside and take a picture of your home, but you know, just you know, don't. I mean, if you see something and you're like, if you're pulled to it, if you're pulled to something, you know, just shoot it. You know, within the law, of course, and you know, you
I
don't want to
like that.
trespass or anything like
You
that.
got to trademark
But
that. Just shoot it.
Just
shoot
shoot
it.
it.
Shoot it.
I like that.
But no, I mean, you know, it's like, you know, for one or another reason, you know, I'd really like to get you another camera. I'm like, well, you know, I mean, I've got like a $1,300 camera in my hand that I can text you on and call it. You know what I mean? It's like
Exactly.
the
It's
same thing, and it's
multifaceted.
always,
It does so many
yeah,
things. I get it.
you know,
Yes, I get it.
it's there. It just, you know, click away. You know,
Exactly.
yeah, I have fun
So
with it.
for sure. And here's one last question, and this one's kind of fun. I saved the fun ones for the end, as my buddies here know that. If you could shoot anywhere in the world, anywhere, any haunted location or any famous spot, doesn't matter. It doesn't necessarily have to be rooted in hauntedness or the paranormal. Where would it be and why?
Well, you know, if the one place that comes off to the top of my head right now, and only because I have friends there right now or work that are in Japan, is
Ooh.
I would like to go to the forest there. I can't say the other word. I think you know which one I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Not
Logan
to
Paul
not
was infamously,
yeah yeah
canceled for.
now
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
now
definitely.
not to not to document anything
Mhm.
per se, you know, but I think that there's there is a beauty there that pulls. It's like the beauty in despair,
Oh
and
yeah, I see what you mean.
do you know what I mean? Um,
Yes.
Yes.
you can find beauty everywhere, and even in someone's last moments. I gotta walk along this easy. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
to
Hmm.
capture that beauty. God, how do I say it? To capture what has brought someone to that place, regardless of what brought them there, but
Yep,
to
Hmm.
be able to find a peace and a solace there to come to whatever end that brings them what it is that brought them. Um,
for sure.
to try and capture that without capturing that would be very interesting. Now, I certainly wouldn't go and find something and do anything wrong or bad like
Of
that.
course.
But that would be something up there that I think that you could capture in a tasteful way. Um, but I think, gosh, another place. Wow, um, that's a really a good question. Um, you know, some I would like to capture something someplace that no one knows about. Like, there's so
I
many.
like
You
that.
know what? There are so many haunted places out there. Everybody has their bucket list of places that they want to go to. You know what?
Hmm.
Create a new place. Find some place that's
Exactly.
free. Find some place that's untapped that hasn't been photographed before. Go there, experience. Fill other people in on it. I mean, I don't know. There's ways that you can capture um, those feelings in different places. That makes sense.
I
Oh, and then the mission
absolutely
inn, because
love
the
it.
mission inn's beautiful. So
Okay, mission in. Honestly, that was the best answer I have ever heard because any regular person would have just been like, "Oh, I would go to XYZ location because of this."
The
You,
Conjuring House.
yeah, the
The
Conjuring
Conjuring
House or
House.
whatever. It's always the same locations. But you, on the other, any famous spot, but the way your lens is unique, and I would have never thought of that myself, is something that no one's familiar with, and kind of putting something new on the paranormal map. If I'm kind of making sense with that.
oh
So
yeah, 100%. Well,
yeah, and I appreciate that question because I get a little giddy inside when people tell me I have good questions because normally it's just me saying nonsense on this show, but I have
Yes.
some cool stuff that I want to ask people too, though. So
oh yeah,
um,
those are fantastic questions, man.
appreciate it. So since we have you here, and I'm sure I don't know how well versed you are on what I'm about to bring up next. My friends here already kind of brought it up a little bit, but you're aware that the last quote unquote the last Conjuring movie is coming out this week. So I don't know if you've seen what's been making its rounds on social media right now, but apparently there's priests that are blessing you with holy water and people to take holy water in the movie theater with them. I've seen a few videos already of people getting quote unquote possessed within the movie theater itself while the movie's going on, and they have to stop the showing because of that because that's happening. How versed are you within the Conjuring verse? I guess you could say.
Um, you know, well, I mean, this kind of thing has been going on since, like, you know, what's the Polanski movie, Rosemary's Baby,
Yeah,
or The
Rosemary's Baby. Yep.
Exorcist, or The Exorcist Two,
Yep.
The Exorcist as well. So this kind of thing, as far as cinema and Satan is concerned, it has been going
Yeah.
on for a while. I was a late bloomer when it came. I'm a late bloomer on so many different things, a lot of shows. And I was a
Yeah.
total late bloomer when it came to the whole Conjuring, all those movies, which was good because I like to watch movies in chronological order. If I haven't seen them,
Nice.
I like to watch them, as they would go in the story. So, you know, my daughter and we've watched them all, and my wife has watched them too. I've enjoyed them. I thought they were great. Um, but as far as, I mean, hey man, to each their own. I mean, God, I don't. I don't dig on watching people suffer, but it'd be pretty wild if that was
Yeah.
to happen like 2 rows away from you, like, you know. It's like, fuck.
Yeah,
That would be, you know, that would be pretty wild. But
Just shoot
um, yeah, no, I don't. I
Shoot
mean, you can, yeah, exactly. You can keep it, bro. I don't need the holy water. I mean, I just,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, I see it as a publicity stunt for the movie or some type of marketing ploy. But at the same time, I want to feel like those priests are there for a reason because of all the evil that's being brought as far as energy goes, which totally makes sense. But as far as having them right before you walk in with a table full of holy water, it just seems a little gimmicky to me. But that's just me.
just creates more of that fear that
Yeah,
that's not really
what it
there.
is.
So.
It's what it is.
And
So
if you didn't notice, Paranormal Dude Ghost again is messing with me with
yeah,
the
his
focus.
as you can see, it's messing with
His
Oscar again.
camera's blurry.
His camera's blurry a little bit. It
And
happens.
Doug, just to give you
periodically.
like a little more context, I do a lot of Zoom calls daily. This never happens.
oh
Only when I
wow,
get on the podcast.
only
This happens.
only
dude.
and no, seriously, and I appreciate everything you outlined for us, and I appreciate pretty much all of my crazy questions that I had for you. We
No,
just
no,
had
this has been fantastic. I appreciate it. All right,
no,
wait,
definitely.
one more ghost. How about one more ghost story?
Sure. Oh,
Yeah.
go for
Yes,
it. We
You want
love
to
it.
know
please.
what?
We love it.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yes.
So my parents were married for 22 years and they got divorced. So when they got divorced, I was 19 and my brother was 15.
Okay.
And so got divorced and I lived with my dad and my brother lived with my mom. Now we lived about 3 blocks away from each other in different apartments. So it's in Victorville, California. And
Ooh,
so my
Victorville.
mom
Okay.
and my brother move into this apartment and man, your closet's so cold and it's freezing in here, you know? And so my mom started seeing stuff. My brother not so much, but what my brother had pythons. He had snakes, lots of pythons, right? Well, one day my mom woke up. Now he had bricks on top of the cage, the what do you call it, like the wire mesh cage to keep them in. There was no way they were going to knock those over. So one day she was taking a nap. She's laying flat on her back. She's taking a nap. She woke up because the snake was flicking her nose. It had got up out of the cage
Oh my
and was on her
god.
chest, right? So how did that happen, you know? So, and then again, sorry, Serge, but there was the lady in white, right? Right. So anyhow, my mom had found out there was a woman who lived in this apartment and she was murdered on the front, at her front door. Okay.
Oh wow.
All right, no problem. So my mom, they move out, they move back down to Doherty. And so about 8 years later, 10 years later, probably, I was at a bar and I met a couple. We just got to chit chatting and they were sweet people, you know, and had a couple of drinks and saw them again a couple of times. I would frequent this bar slash pool hall a lot. And we got to become friends and this and that. Like, hey, you know, we're having a get together at our apartment. Would you, you know, you're more than welcome to come. I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. So sure enough,
No way.
I'm going to the apartment complex. I'm like, oh, sweet. They picked me up. I'm like, oh, sweet. My mom and my brother used to live here. And they're like, really? I go, yeah. I go, I bet you live in apartment 93, right? And they stopped me like, how the fuck did you know that? And I was like, no shit.
Oh.
So
No way.
I'm like, really? I'm like, so 93, huh? The bedroom closet really cold? And they're like, how did you know that? And I go, let me guess, you probably seen the lady in white a few times too. And they're like, shut the hell up, you know? So it turns out that these people
No.
that I had just met lived in the same apartment that my mom and my brother had lived in like 10 years earlier. And it was still experiencing all the same stuff that so that's like what I think would be cool about going to old places like that you lived in to see what they
Yeah.
look like now. And then dare I say, knock on the door, hey, how do you do? I was wondering, you know, you know, but I mean, wouldn't you find that kind of interesting? If you had the chance to do that, would you go back and do that?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, the interaction would be a lot more awkward if it was me and be like, so how do I tell you this? How do I tell you
Yeah.
this? I used to live here, and my friend got dragged in there by demons.
I was just gonna bring that up. that house would be so
But I
hard to
mean, do
go
you
back
think
and
that
visit.
that's coincidence though, that something brought you back to those
I don't
people in
know.
that
So
same
okay,
apartment, or
That energy
I don't know,
pulled
but
them for
I never
sure.
experienced anything there, which was a drag, you know. And the funny thing about it was just last week, the girl who lived there, the couple that lived there, they're no longer together, but we're all friends on Facebook. And she messaged me the other day, and she's like, "Hey, man, did we really live in a haunted house way back when?" And I mean, I haven't spoken to her in a couple of years, and I was like, "Yes, you lived in a haunted house." And she's like, "Boy, you know." So I mean, what are the odds, right?
yeah, for sure, for
Who
sure.
knows?
That was a great. That was a good one. You know what? A lot of our audience, just so you know, Doug, that when they do reach out to us, they love the stories that we bring
Mhm.
to the show, just like the ones you shared with us today. And they see it. What did they call us? They called us their uncle, or
Yeah,
their older cousins. Their older
older
cousins that
cousins.
have ghost
Uh,
stories. Yes.
okay.
And we actually like that. Believe it or not, the way we grew up, especially Buddy and I, Jesse wasn't really a part of these stories growing up because she was how I used to call her a coconut
We
that
we
nothing
were
could
the we
harm
were
her.
the cool club.
Yeah, we were the kids out in the dirt. We were out in the dirt, like in the canals, doing like stand by me shit on train tracks and throwing things at cars we shouldn't be. Just crazy stuff like
Being
that.
dumb.
Doing dumb things. And this is the town we grew up in. And whenever we talk about it to people who really don't know or our audience, they find it fascinating because not everybody grew up the same. And a lot of, especially Oscar, he grew up in a metropolitan area. He grew up in LA, in parts of LA in Orange County. Yes, I lived in LA for a period of time, but
Mhm.
I'm very much a country boy. And so is Buddy and Jess, but Jess was too cool for us.
Ugh.
I don't know, something like
You
that,
guys are
something
boring.
along those lines.
You know, I think it's either small town or big city. I think it's honestly steeped in our culture. You
Yep,
know,
Mhm.
yep, I agree,
100%. You know, on my mom's side
hundred
of the
percent.
family, 100%. You know, um,
Sure.
I mean, so many different cultures have ways of celebrating it, and I think our culture has a way of celebrating and like not being afraid of it, you know, but
Yes.
being respectful of
hmm
it at the same time too,
Being
you
respectful.
know.
Right.
Yes. Yes. At
Yeah.
the same time, like totally honest. Every year, uh, in my house, we have an ofrenda. We have an ofrenda for our past loved ones every year. It never fails. And like you said, it's steeped in our culture,
Uh-huh.
and it's out of just straight respect for those people. And it's I feel no knock on other cultures, but I really feel that within our culture, it's rich, and
Mhm.
because of the level of respect that we have for
Oh
it,
yeah,
and the
it's not
belief.
only rich, but it's vibrant too. You know, I mean,
Yes,
Yes.
it's
agreed.
vibrant, it's colorful, it's full of life when celebrating death. You know, which I think is it's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing actually. I think.
Mhm.
No, no,
So
yeah, for sure,
my
for sure.
sister still, gosh, my sister gets all dressed up. They all go down to the, was it Hollywood Forever ceremony? You know, the cemetery, and they have things going on down there or whatever.
Oh,
I mean,
nice. Okay,
she's big into that. You know?
okay. Like every Dia de los Muertos, she's participating in that. Would you say
Oh yeah, yeah,
she
for sure.
does?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. I love Dia de los Muertos stuff. I have it on some of our merch. I don't know if anybody's ever
Yeah.
realized that, any of our audience, and it's going to continue that way. I'm going to keep adding that to our merch. Um,
Yeah, it's
but
very
yeah,
pretty.
I honestly, do you guys have any other questions for Doug before we close the show? Bud, Osk, Jess.
No.
Not from my. I feel like you really touched like just even things that I didn't even think of. Just from that transparent, authentic side of you really doing it for the passion that you love it for and like the realness, than rather like how many likes am I gonna get?
Right.
And that's
Yeah,
really what we
Exactly.
yeah,
value for sure.
right. Now, photography brought me solace at a time when I needed it, when I needed comfort, and
That's
it just
beautiful.
evolved from there. And the whole paranormal end was just the cherry on top because that's something that's been going on throughout my life. And it just
Mhm.
those things kind of finally mesh together. And I get to share it with my kid. And that's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, that's
we've
beautiful.
turned it
I like
into
that.
we've turned it into a great time.
Absolutely.
Buddy, got anything?
No, I mean, Doug, I'll be honest with you, I kind of got quiet for a while because watching and listening to you this whole time, I was just like really into everything you had to say. And I kind of ended up in a fanboy phase over here where I was kind of like just listening to the show. And I looked up and I go, oh, we are recording right now. I mean, I had a great time right now listening to you the whole time and brain farting the whole time. And but I was looking at your page on Instagram and I saw all the different art and all the different photos you've taken. And I have to say, I've always wanted to get into photography, but seeing your stuff there, it really like gives me an inspiration to kind of want to go out and try and do something like that myself, and
Mhm.
add it to
Oh
my
yeah, brother.
Instagram. And
Yep.
that was really
Absolutely,
cool.
man. Yeah, I mean, you've got it right there in your hand, and if you can see it in here and feel it in there, dude, the sky's the limit. You can do it. You can. Oh yeah, brother, you got it.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was a
Thank you so
perfect.
much for joining us.
Yeah, for sure. That
Yeah,
was a
he feels
perfect
like
buddy
a
moment.
paranormal dude. Like he fits right
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
with
yeah,
our
yeah,
Oh
vibe.
yeah.
for sure, for
Very
sure.
natural. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Awesome.
fit
I
perfectly
appreciate
with
it,
the
guys.
show.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a perfect buddy moment, by the way, because believe it or not, before Buddy became a mainstay on the show, he was like I want to say super fan. Like he watched everything and like was commenting on everything. I was like, you know what? Let's bring Buddy on the show. And we
Nice.
brought him on, and it only made sense to have him here. And it only makes sense that Buddy was like, "Oh my god, this is great." Oh wait, I'm actually on the show. Okay, I gotta say something.
Literally what happened. I was like, oh, I'm recording. Yeah, I was like,
But
oops.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, before we go, Doug, do you got anything you want to plug? Any of your socials or anything like that?
No, I mean, I'm at Stockwell 1968 on Instagram. Yeah, man, just go check it out. But that's it.
Cool.
That's all I'm on.
Rad. Well, maybe, because we have future plans of going out and doing a little bit of in real life content, like investigating and filming in certain areas. Maybe we can make our way out to Missouri and or Missouri, how some
Missouri.
people say it.
I would
And
love to go to the Battle of Lexington area.
yeah,
Like
that'd be rad.
Oh,
That
dude,
would.
it's pretty cool. It's wild. I like it. It's very neat out there. I mean, history in general is it's history just kicks ass. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, for
um,
sure, for sure.
it really does. So yeah.
Definitely. So maybe we can make something happen in the future for sure.
Dude,
If we make
that'd
make
be
our way
awesome.
out there.
That would be awesome.
Definitely. Well, my dudes, if you're watching the show, we had a great one. We are actually, as you're watching this, just so that you know, we're gonna have 2 episodes this week because we wanted to dedicate one episode to Doug because out of the full respect of him and what he's doing and how we feel about his content on Instagram when it comes to his photography. And thank you for joining. We will catch you guys on the next one. Later, dudes.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.